For this recipe, you're going to need 2 cups of all-purpose flour, half a cup of white sugar, 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract, half a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of baking soda, 1 tablespoon of matcha, 1 egg and 1 egg yolk, half a cup of brown sugar, and we're going to need 1.5 cups of either white chocolate chips, or some kind of chocolate chunks, 3/4 cups of butter. That should be melted. Hang on. There we go. Melted. The first thing we want to do is combine all of our dry ingredients into a large bowl. So to do that, we're going to take our flour. We should be sifting this, but I'm, as you can see by blocking the entire shot with my arm, quite a professional. Just make sure you get as much of the flour out of the measuring cup as possible. Then add in your matcha green tea. Don't be shy, just pour it in. Add in your salt and your baking soda. Once all those are in the bowl, just mix them together with a spoon, a whisk, something that'll get it nice and mixed together and form one homogeneous mixture. The most important thing is that you want it to all kind of blend together and be one solid, I don't know what. Once you're finished with that, you can set it aside and start working on your wet ingredients. For our wet ingredients, we're going to start by combining the sugars and then butter. The brown sugar, as you'll see here, likes to really stick to whatever it's been inside of, either a measuring cup or a bowl. Sometimes tiny bits really just want to fight you, but you washed your hands, so it's okay to just kind of reach in and just grab it and put it into the main bowl. Then you want to combine the brown sugar with your butter and your white sugar. I'm using a stand mixer for this, but you can use an electrical mixer or just mix it by hand. The most important thing is that you want to get everything blended and fully mixed together before you start adding in your next ingredients. Yeah, kind of like that. Next, you're going to want to add in your egg and your vanilla extract. I've found that the 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract is really good, but if you want to kind of bring out that green tea flavor, you can also add in about 1/4 to half a teaspoon of either lemon extract or a couple of drops of just straight lemon juice. And blend all of that together until you get a nice creamy mixture. Next up, it's dough time. We're going to be adding our flour mixture in and mixing everything together until it's just blended. We want to make sure we get this nice rich green color coming off of it, and most importantly, we want no more dry flour by the end of it. If need be, you could just grab some kind of spatula or wooden spoon and scrape down the sides, get everything together into one cohesive blob. Now's the part where we get to add a little bit of extra personality into this cookie. Aside from the green tea flavor and the strong green coloring. You can add in some walnuts or just go with the chocolate. Like I said, we're using 1.5 cups, but if that's too much or too little, go for what you feel. Can you ever really have too much chocolate? I mean, I guess here it looks like you are. But once you start folding, everything should come together and become one nice, evenly mixed dough. We're going to preheat our oven to 325 degrees, and we're going to quickly realize that 1 baking sheet is just not enough for this particular bake. So we're going to get a second one and cover it with slightly too much parchment paper. Quick side note, you can put the dough into the fridge for about an hour to overnight to really bring out the flavor of your cookies, but they are good to go straight onto the baking sheet. I'm using about a tablespoon each per cookie. It gives me about 2 dozen or 2 baking sheets worth. You can make them as big or as small as you want. It's entirely about preference. If you want a big cookie, go for a big cookie. If you want a small cookie, go for a small cookie. Once your oven is preheated, put both sheets in and cook for about 8 to 10 minutes. The cookies will be done when they start to brown on the top. This is sort of a preference thing because maybe you like them gooier, maybe you like them crunchier, but ultimately when they get to about that color right there, they're good to go. As hard as it's going to be, you're going to want to let these cool a little bit before you bite into them. So let them cool a little bit in the baking sheet, then transfer it to a cooling rack. If they're particularly gooey like mine were, you're going to want to take the parchment paper with it. I like to make a little bit of room on one piece of parchment paper and then take the other baking sheet and just by spatula put the rest of the cookies onto that one just to consolidate space. If there's not quite enough, it's okay to leave the rest on the countertop nearby, preferably on either a plate or on the other parchment paper. There you go, matcha green tea cookies. A classic dessert with a new twist that is absolutely delicious. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.